Hi and welcome back everybody. Today I have another review for you. Today I'm looking at my PRS SC245 guitar. And this guitar is my number one instrument. I love this guitar. I'd never part with it. And I'm going to explain to you why in this video. But before I do, I just want to remind everyone to please subscribe to my channel. And it helps me get in touch with you when I need to notify you of any new videos that I have out there. Plus, I really do enjoy your feedback and comments, and I try to answer all the emails that I get for the reviews. And sometimes I goof up and make some mistakes, and you guys correct me. I appreciate that a lot, and it just basically encourages me to go on and make some more videos. Plus, I have some other great videos that I'm going to be working on for other gear besides guitars such as amplifiers, pedals, and other stuff. So please stay tuned, and there's no better way of doing that than to subscribing. So enough said about that. Let's go on and look at why I love this guitar so much. Alright, the first thing that I want to talk about is a little bit of history behind this guitar and how I got it. First of all, I already owned another PRS style guitar. It was a 24 fret version, and I never really bonded with that guitar. It's the model that has the pickup selector switch on a knob, and it's a 5-position switch that you have to actually turn to get the different pickup combinations, and I never really thought that was practical and never worked for me, and I didn't really bond with that guitar, so I sold it. And I kept looking for other PRSs because I do like the quality that you get for the money that you're spending with PRS. It's not a cheap guitar by any means. You know that you're spending a lot of money, but it does hold its value, and you know you're getting good quality USA craftsmanship and materials. So I kept looking, and at that time they had come out with a McCarty version, which was basically the same style as this one. It had the same single cut body, and I tried it. I really wanted to like that guitar, and I tried it at the store, and I didn't bond with it. I didn't like it. I don't know why. It just didn't feel right to me. And then this one came out, and I don't know if it's due to the shorter scale length or just maybe the thickness of the neck or what, but the moment I tried that guitar, I really loved it. I bonded with it, but I couldn't afford it. It was very expensive at the time, so I thought I'd just wait and maybe come across a used one. Now obviously they're not that easy to find on the used market. People try to hang on to the guitars because they like them, but I did come across one on eBay, and it was this one. And I was very hesitant to buy it because I never really want to buy a guitar sight unseen. I always feel that there's many things that you can hide on a guitar, and if you don't actually play it, you'll never really find those things till you get it, and it's a little late. So I was foolish, and I bought it on eBay, and I'm so glad I did. It came to me in flawless condition. It was A1. There was not one crack, scratch, chip, or anything on this guitar. I really, really got lucky. I'd probably never do that again. But, I'm so glad I did. It was kind of like meant to be for me. So enough of that honeymoon love story. Let's get into the guitar and go over the features and functions. So the first thing you normally notice when you look at a PRS guitar is the woods and the finish. They're really known for high quality standards in terms of the woods that they're using on their guitar and the finishes. So you look at this guitar, it's got a flamed maple cap, and you can see how beautiful the flame maple is on this guitar. This is a 10 top, and basically PRS categorizes their tops in terms of a numbering system, and 10 is the highest. And usually you can tell that because it's written in the back here, and I'll show you. See, there's a serial number here, but there's also a little 10, and it's written in gold Sharpie marker, the top little thing here, and that indicates that it's a 10 top. So the finish on the guitar is polyurethane. It's not nitrocellulose, so it's a gloss finish, very high gloss. And the gloss finish goes all the way to the back of the body, which is mahogany, and the neck as well. It's all the same finish, which is a gloss finish there. So the body has the characteristic carved top. You can see that in the reflection. So the top and the bottom of the guitar edges are carved. There's no binding on this guitar. It's just straight wood. Some of the models do have a nice binding across the circumference of the guitar. This one does not. So the thing that caught me most about this guitar when I tried it first was the sustain. Has wonderful sustain, and the playability of the guitar. This guitar plays like butter. I don't know why, but it just feels perfect and feels effortless when you're playing. You don't feel like you're struggling with the guitar. You know that it's you got a weird angle, or the neck is too fat, or the frets are getting in the way because they're whatever, the edges are not clearly nicely finished, or it just really feels right in your hands. And the thing, I always play the guitar unplugged first and just see how nice it sustains. And if you have a guitar that sustains nicely unplugged, it's going to sustain even nicer when it's plugged in. And if you can feel the vibrations in the neck, this is what I do. I just strum a chord and I put my finger on the neck, on the tip of the headstock here. If I can feel the vibrations coming through, that it's got really good sustain. So this guitar is very simple in terms of the features and electronics on it. There's not too many switches or combinations of split coil or coil tapping or other things. It's very traditional. I mean, you just have a 3-way toggle switch that you have the bridge and the neck pickup and the combination of both. You have a volume knob for each pickup and a tone knob for each pickup, and that's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing fancy there. The pickups need a little bit of attention in terms of my description here, and I'll explain to you. They have covers that are brushed nickel, and I really like the brushed nickel vintage look. I really like that vibe that it gives you, that mojo. They're supposed to be 57, or flavored after a 57 PAF pickup, and I know that every company and their uncle says the same thing, that our pickups sound like 57s. And now I'm not going to say they do or they don't, but I just like the way they sound. I find that the pickups have a very balanced sound. They have that sort of a lower output tone to them, but they can give you that bite that you want, but it's never too much. It's just enough. And even the neck pickup is very warm, but not muddy. A lot of times you have these pickups that become just overly muddy or just too cutting, and I have to say that these are very good quality in terms of how balanced they are, and how you can lower the volume on your pickup and have them clean up, and then crank it up and really get a lot more of that bite and sustain. Really nice pickups. I like them a lot. The other thing you're going to notice that's a little different on this guitar is the bridge here. And the bridge, let's look at that a little closer, and I'll explain to you what's so different about this bridge. So the way this bridge, first of all, it's a one-piece bridge. It's not like a typical Gibson bridge where that you have the actual bridge and the saddle. So you have two pieces. This one only has one. It's made of aluminum, and a lot of people might say, well, how am I going to adjust the intonation on this thing, right? Because there's nothing that moves on the actual piece here. It's a wraparound sort of system. So the strings go in, go around, and on top. And a lot of people used to do this with their old Gibsons, like wrapping the strings around the tailpiece. Well, this one is made like that. So they've gotten rid of the second piece, and there's a little... if you can see here, there's a little dip in the bridge, and that basically gives you the intonation that you need. If you need to lower it or higher it, you can do that with the two posts on either side. And if you need to push the bridge front or back for intonation reasons, you have two little Allen keys, two little holes here on either side that you can actually push it front or back and adjust the intonation. Now, so I know a lot of people are going to say, I don't like that, it's not giving me the flexibility I need, but honestly, I never had to change the intonation on this guitar since I got it. It was dead on. The other thing I like about this bridge, it doesn't get in your way. When you're playing and you're palm muting, you can rest your hands easily on it. You're not at a funny angle and you're feeling like you have to avoid the bridge because it's so low and basically blends into the ergonomics of the guitar that it doesn't become an obstacle, you know. And it just basically, I can palm mute, I can do what I need to do, and it never becomes a problem. And I really, really like that. And that, you know, just goes to show what kind of attention they're putting into their guitars. Now, when I say the guitar is easy to play, the main reason for that is the neck. So I'm going to spend some time talking about this neck. And, you know, first of all, okay, let's get the obvious things run down here. So we know that it's a rosewood, it's an Indian rosewood neck. It's got the typical PRS bird inlays, which are beautiful and I really like. And it's not like a plastic inlay, it's actually mother of pearl. The frets on the neck are a wider fret. They're a nice wide fret. I like wide frets actually. I don't know if you can see them here. So you can see the birds and the frets. There's no binding on the side of the neck, so it's just a straight, you know, rosewood on the mahogany back. The nut here, I believe the nut is, you know, don't quote me on this, but it looks like it could be graphite. I could be wrong. It might just be Corian, but anyways, it's black. If anybody really knows what it is, let me know. I'm not 100% sure on that. And the neck and headstock is typical PRS style with the tulip type tuners. You'll notice that these tuners are not locking tuners, they're just regular tuners. You know, I've had locking tuners on other PRS guitars that I've seen, and they're fine, but not really necessary. These work very well. I have no issues with the typical standard classic style tuners. Okay, you have your truss rod cover here, typical. So the thing I like about this neck is really the width of the neck is really a nice width. It fits in your hand and it has a really nice curve to it. Very comfortable, never feels bulky, yet the back to front ratio of the neck is not thin. It's you have some meat there, but it never becomes bulky that you're feeling like you're holding onto a baseball bat, but it just feels like really, really comfortable in your hand. You know, you have enough to grip and to hold and to be able to chord and not get tired. And to me, it just feels perfect. They got the proportions really, really good. I don't know. I mean, everybody's hand is different. You know, my hands are bigger or smaller than some of yours, and really you need to find what works for you. But this one fits my hand like a glove and just plays like butter. I never have to struggle with this guitar when I'm playing it. It really, really does. It never ceases to amaze me, and I can play the guitar for hours, and it just makes me want to keep on playing. And that's really what you want when you have a guitar. You know, you don't want to have a guitar that you have to struggle with, and this one doesn't do that. Let's move on to the back. The back of the guitar is made of mahogany, so you can see that they've included a cut here on this side just to make it a little bit more comfortable to play when you're sitting, so you don't have a sharp edge against your ribs. There's the cover for, you know, the electronics, smaller cover here for the switch. Nothing else that's too fancy. The only other thing that I want to bring your attention to is this here, and this is just the way this neck is not bolted on, it's set. So they have this curve that sort of follows the contours of the guitar body and really gives you the ability to slide all the way down when you're going to the upper registry here, and it really feels comfortable. There's nothing that really sticks out all that much there, and you know, they thought about those details and they made it work. The input jack here is, you know, a standard input jack, nothing that locks or anything like that. It's, you know, metal, nice solid metal here, nothing's wobbly or rattly, everything's put in place quite well. The knobs on the front, basically you have a volume, tone for each pickup. There's no push-pull on this guitar, it's very traditional. You know, you can do the standard thing where you lower the volume all the way and switch the pickup. You know, and then it gets turned off, and then you go to the back and you have full volume, or you can do a variation. It's typical stuff that everybody does, and still works very well. The scale length I had mentioned is 20. The guitar is called the CS245, right? So it's 24.5 inches scale length, which means it's a little bit shorter than, let's say, a Stratocaster. So it's like a Gibson style scale length, and it plays very, very well and gives you great tone and sustain. What else can I say about this guitar besides that it really, really is an amazing quality built instrument, and you know, I expect to own this guitar for a long, long time, and I really, really doubt that I'm gonna have something fall into my hands that's gonna play and sound better than this one does. If it does, you know, I'd consider selling it, but I've had this one for a while now, and I've tried many other guitars, and you know, there's other guitars that sound better for different reasons, or maybe not better, but different for different reasons. But I really haven't had a reason to ever consider selling this one till now. So I highly recommend you guys go take a look at this guitar, and you know, just play it for yourself and see what I mean. If you can still find them, they're getting harder to find. They've been replaced, I think, with other models, but you can still get them directly from PRS, I believe. So check them out. Give me some feedback on this guitar and let me know what you think. And this is one thing I want to just say before closing, is I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to slam me for saying, you know, certain things, or there's people that are always comparing Gibson and PRS and saying Gibson's better, PRS is not as good, one is, you know, a Lexus, the other one's a Cadillac, or, you know, there's a lot of comparisons going on. You know, I have both, I've tried both, I know which one I prefer from the two. You might not feel the same way, that's fine, but I'm trying to give an unbiased review of this guitar, and I know that you guys are going to ask me to do a review of both side by side, and maybe I'll do that if I have enough requests, and I'll put them side by side, maybe do some sound clips on one, some sound clips on the other. I don't know if it's really an important thing to do, to compare the two just because they look similar, you know, with the body shape. They really are different guitars, and they're really made differently. You know, some are chambered, some are not. This one is not chambered. I forgot to mention this one's about eight and a half to 9 pounds. The construction of the guitars are quite different, although they seem very similar. But if you guys want me to do a review, I'll put them side by side and we can do a little review. And if, you know, maybe that's going to be something that will be interesting from the perspective of somebody considering whether they want to go with a Les Paul or a PRS. Ideally, I'd say get both, and then you make up your own mind and sell whatever one you don't want. But that's just my 2 cents. So stay tuned, give me your comments, and I look forward to presenting you with some more feedback and some more great overviews and reviews very soon. So stay tuned.